UFC 284 takes place February 12th in Perth, Australia. 12th for me at least, 11th in America. But listen, this was looking like a great card. Okay, we had Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa, Kai Kara France versus Alex Perez, Yair Rodriguez versus Josh Emmett, Islam versus Volkanovski. Still going to be some great fights. And I know in the prelims we had some good fights lined up as well. This is not... Why is this on the prelims, bro? No wonder he didn't want to fucking fight this fight. Anyways, listen. Tyson Pedro's on the card. Justin Tafa. Josh Kulabau. But listen, bro. If you scroll down, you can see these top stories. Kai Kara France is out of the fight versus Alex Perez. And Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa is not happening. So, I've decided... The UFC called me. Okay, they called me. Dana White called me up last night. You know, he was like, I love everything about this kid, you know. He loves my matchmaking. He loves my videos. That's what he said, basically. But listen, today... I'm going to be pulling out Old Reliable, my boy, this matchup screen right here. I'm going to be giving you 4 fights to add to this card that can save UFC 284 from becoming a fucking disaster, okay? I know it's in Australia. I know the UFC doesn't really give that much of a shit, okay, as long as they have those 2 title fights. And really the fans don't either, but I want to save this card. I want this to be the best fight card possible. So I'm going to try and keep Robert Whittaker on the card, number 1. I'm going to keep Alex Perez on the card, number 2. I'm going to add probably one of the best fights of the year candidate on the card as well. Sorry, excuse me. And I'm going to add one bonus fight that I think everybody would love to see, okay? So I'm going to start off with my first fight. Saving Alex Perez on this card. Obviously, he lost Kai Kara France. I'm going to be giving you a better fight almost. Alex Perez versus Manel Kape, okay? Now... Yes, I could have put Amir Albazi on here, but my logic is Amir Albazi was meant to fight Brandon Royval, who's number 4. Alex Perez is number 6. And this fight card just lost number 2 or number 3, Kai Kara France. So why don't you book this fight and then give Amir Albazi Kai Kara France when he comes back? Boom. There you go. Okay, problem solved. And Brandon Royval can fight the loser of the main event of UFC 283. Be it, you know, Moreno or Figueiredo. Put Royval against either one of those guys, healthy. That's a banger. That's flyweight solved, okay? So this is a great fight. Very exciting. There's a good chance for either guy. It's very competitive. Makes sense ranking-wise for Kape and Perez. Perez is coming off some losses, so giving him a guy a bit lower down the rankings instead of being basically fed to Kai Kara France makes it a bit more competitive for him. And you also got to think, who is he going to say yes to on short notice? Would you say yes to Amir Albazi or Manel Kape on short notice? Because I know who I'd pick, right? Both scary fights, but I'd take Kape. More winnable, you know what I'm saying? And probably better showcase for this card. More of an exciting fight for this card, probably. So that's my first fight. Alex Perez, Manel Kape. Card is going to be saved, boys. Trust me. Okay, we move on to the dilemma of Robert Whittaker. Okay, so he lost his fight with Paulo Costa. I'm pretty sure he's not going to be fighting on the card, which is a bummer. But I think there is a guy who would say yes to fighting Robert Whittaker on kind of short notice. Not too short of notice, but still semi-short notice. And there is one man crazy enough to say yes to that, just for the ranking side of it. And also from the UFC's perspective, because you want Robert Whittaker to win this fight. Robert Whittaker will win this fight, by the way. So, problem solved. If you want to keep Whittaker on the card, one guy you reach out to that makes sense ranking-wise, Dricus du Plessis, okay. He's not beating Robert Whittaker, bro, okay. I know that it's like, oh, might be a bit scary. No, he's not beating Robert Whittaker. But if you want to give Whittaker a fight, give him du Plessis. Just beat Darren Till, got some hype, coming off some wins, makes sense ranking-wise for du Plessis. Not necessarily for Whittaker, but if he's going to rack up wins, like, give him du Plessis. Let him shut that down. Look good against a guy who's just, you know, beat a big name, and call for his title shot against Alex Pereira next year, which I think he will end up getting. So, this is how you keep Robert Whittaker on the card. This is a good fight, you know, not as good as the Paulo Costa fight, but still very exciting. There's a bit of intrigue there, and I like the matchmaking the UFC is doing at the moment of, like, lower ranked guys that looked really good versus, like, the top contender. Like, just fuck it. Fuck it, let's do it. So, this is my solution. I want to keep Whittaker on the card. This is what I would do. Unless you want to get, like, Derek Brunson in here to lose to Whittaker. But at least there's a bit of intrigue, yeah? There's a bit of an excitement. There might be a bit of trash talk from du Plessis with his, like, weird, like, South African trash talk where he's, like, complimenting you but not. So, that's what I would do, mate. And fix this fucking hair as well, by the way. Okay, moving on to the real savior of this card. So, we've got Whittaker back on the card. Perez has a fight. Now I need to give the fans a certified fight of the night banger. Doesn't matter what happens on the rest of the card. This fight will sell pay-per-views. I can guarantee it. And it's a hometown kind of boy from that Australia, New Zealand area. A guy who wants to fight on this card against an opponent that I don't think many people would have picked him to fight against until recently. Someone who also fought uh, last month or in December. I'm going to make the fight of this card. Ready? Dan Hooker versus Drew Dober. Who says no? Who says no to this, bro? Tell me this wouldn't be fucking show-stealingly good. Like, Giga Chad Drew Dober versus fucking Incel Dan Hooker, bro. Like, literally look at these two. But no, this would be a crazy fight, bro. So many ways this fight could go. Certified fight of the night. I would bet my whole house on it, bro. So, tell me this wouldn't save this pay-per-view. You see this fight and go, yeah, I'm watching this shit, bro. We're watching this shit, boys. You know what I'm saying? So, UFC. You're welcome, okay? Those are my 3 fights to save this card, okay? Dan Hooker, Drew Dober, yeah. Manel Cup, Alex Perez saves the card, and Robert Whittaker versus Dricus du Plessis. Book all of these fights and save UFC 284 from becoming like fucking God knows what it could become if they don't give any of these fights. Like this Dan Hooker, Drew Dober fight, please make this fight. Please make this fight UFC, bro. We need this fight, bro. We need this fight at UFC 284. Imagine this fight in front of a sold-out fucking arena in Perth, bro. Come on. Come on, bro. This is going to sell pay-per-views, alright? My bonus fight, okay? There's one guy that needs to be on this card that doesn't have a fight yet. They're talking about him versus, like, Li Jingliang. Hold your horses, alright? Let's not give him, like, a tough fight in Perth. Let's give him a fight he's going to win that's, like, still kind of ranking-wise similar. A guy who beat Li Jingliang, supposedly. I'm going to add to the prelim headliner Daniel D. Rod Rodriguez versus Jack Della Maddalena. Great fight. Good boxing match in the UFC. And Jack Della Maddalena will secure another knockout against a guy who beat Li Jingliang, who just fought Neil Magny, who's now fighting Gilbert Burns. So it's like that chain of wins, right? Like he's beating a guy who's just had a competitive fight against Neil Magny. So it's going to be a huge deal. I can definitely see this going his way. And then you give him a ranked guy. Then you give him maybe Neil Magny if he loses. Or maybe you give him like Vicente Luque or Li Jingliang. Whatever you want to do next. But this is a good fight for him. Put this as the prelim like headliner. And boom, you're done, okay? But seriously, my focus, sorry, I've just opened like all my fights. Not that one. This fight needs to happen. I don't care about the other ones. I know they probably won't happen. This needs to happen. Dan Hooker versus Drew Dober. Make it known. Spread the word. This needs to be a fight in the UFC. Let me know what you think about UFC 284 down below. Should Robert Whittaker fight? Who should he fight? Who do you think he's going to fight? And just tell me how good I did booking this fight, because I know I did an amazing job, alright? So, see you in the next video, boys.